After an album mainly about metal, fast cars, and booze, Metallica decided to improve their writing style and started talking about more serious subjects like death, religion, war, and Cthulhu. So let's take a look at it. Ride the Lightning. Kill 'Em All was very much a first album. The song structures were followed very basic verse chorus structure. There were some awkward pauses while the riff transitions happened, whereas Ride the Lightning was much more well written. The songs were a lot more cohesive, they flowed better, riff transitions were much smoother, there was a lot more varied parts of the songs, harmonies, all that fun stuff. So let's take a look at the tracks. Track 1, Fight Fire with Fire. This song is probably the most aggressive song Metallica had written at the time. It's very much an anti-war song in the fact that, we're just going to fight death and destruction with more death and destruction until everything's death and destroyed. Death. You heard it here first, that's a new word. Death. It has a quiet intro that builds up. It's a very calm way to start an album and then just comes out of nowhere and just kicks you in the face with an extremely aggressive riff. Now let's move on to the title track, Ride the Lightning. This is one of my favorite intros in a Metallica song, just the doo-dee-dee, I love that. It also has one of my favorite solos from Kirk, just shred all over the place, and it's amazing. The drums on the verse are really weak, I feel. I mean, Lars isn't the greatest drummer in the world, I think everyone knows that. But the drumming here is just even weaker, mainly because he doesn't really use the bass pedal that much. Later in the song, once it gets a bit more intense, the drum picks up, but the verse is just rather lacking there. Next up, the first song I ever learned to play on guitar, For Whom the Bell Tolls. It's a very simple song. Just a lot of chords and some chugging. And aside from a little bit of a harmony thing Kirk does partway through, there's not much too complex here. It's a very basic, simple song. It's actually really good for aspiring guitarists to try out and learn. That's what I did. It also has one of the most recognizable and iconic bass riffs in all of metal, and probably all of rock too, with the intro. I do find that from the very beginning until the actual vocals come in, it can drag on and get a bit dull. Once the vocals come in, it does pick up quite a bit. And the ending does drag a bit. And now for the first ever Metallica ballad, Fade to Black. This is quite a drastic change for the band's tone, since a lot of it had been, metal everywhere, thrash, speed, how fast can we go, how metal can we make this? And then they go very soft and calm. For the most part, it does pick up in the end, as, ballads, I think, have to do by law, power ballads at least. But also the lyrical theme about suicide and dying and embracing death. Compared to everything else being about metal, good times, or war, and killing, taking your own life had never really been discussed before by Metallica. The music is very beautiful. It's peaceful and relaxing and calm. And it's kind of a misdirection because if you don't pay attention to the lyrics, you could just think it's just a nice, smooth, relaxing ride. But it's about killing yourself or accepting death. Which, I like that. It's a bit of a misdirection. It's quite nice. Also has one of my favorite Metallica riffs ever. The next song counteracts the slowness of a ballad very well with being one of the fastest Metallica songs ever. Trapped Under Ice. This song could be a metaphor for something, or it could just be literally about being trapped under ice. It could be being trapped in yourself, like you can't say something, trapped in an abusive relationship, or an abusive family, or something like that. Maybe an addiction to drugs, you can't get out. So there's a lot of ways to interpret this song. Or you could just say, you're stuck under ice and everyone's on lake and you're gonna die of hypothermia. Fun stuff. It's extremely fast and extremely aggressive, which was definitely the focus of Metallica on Ride Lightning and also Master of Puppets. The song also just has a bunch of solos thrown in there, just, after every chorus there's a solo. Sort of similar to Hit the Lights. And now for the song that's only been played once, ever, Escape. Metallica wrote this to sort of be the big radio hit. At the time it was a lot of hair metal and just cheesy 80s music, and they're like, whatever, let's get on this, let's write a chart topper. And pretty much everyone hated it. The chorus is catchy, but it's kind of obnoxious too. It's one of the songs you don't want to get stuck in your head. The verse has some interesting drumming on it. It's just some random snare fills in there, which It's interesting. It's not necessarily good, but it's interesting. It does have a dark, chuggy riff later on, which I think is really cool and really heavy, but it doesn't last for too long, which kind of sucks. Overall, I'd say this is the worst track on the album, mainly just because it doesn't have too much to offer. It's just kind of bland and boring. And now for the story of Exodus. No, not that. Creeping Death. It's the story of Exodus, you know? The story from the Bible about freeing the Jews from slavery and, you know, death of the firstborn son, the plagues, and all that fun stuff. It's one of Metallica's live staples, and they have to play it at pretty much every show they do. Mainly because their breakdown in this song is one of the best crowd chants ever. There's almost nothing cooler than hearing 3,000 people chanting "die" at the same time. Except for maybe 200,000? And now for the big instrumental closing number, the Call of Cthulhu. Or as on the album it says, the Call of Cthulhu. That's actually something James Hetfield says he regrets about Ride the Lightning, was changing the spelling of Cthulhu. Cthulhu to Cthulhu. It's got a very creep and dark opening, which I love. I always get shivers when I listen to it. And it does drag on a bit, because the verse, not the verse I guess, but the main meat of the song doesn't switch around too much. It does, but it can be too similar. Sometimes it gets a bit boring. But the ending, I think, is definitely where it's at. Especially the very, very last bit. I think that's the perfect way to end an album. Just big, grandiose, huge, big rock ending. And it sounds great. So, do I like it? Do I don't like it? Once again, I love it. This is a much more mature album than Kill 'Em All. While Kill 'Em All is a bunch of teenagers just saying, "Fuck yeah, we got an album." This is a bunch of teenagers saying, "Alright, we got a second album, let's make this even better than the first." Once again, I highly recommend it. I'm probably going to be saying that for the first few albums. I mean, the opinions on the first 5 Metallica albums are all pretty clear. Which once we get to the later stuff, that things will get a bit more controversial. So join me next time when we have a puppet show. That was a stupid joke.
Master of puppets are pulling your strings, twisting your mind and smashing your